Hey there, Elon Musk may look like a clown on social media, but there's a good deal of method to his madness. Tesla is an emphatically liberal-friendly company that would be nowhere without Obama's subsidies and is aimed squarely at the, so far, very democratic concern of climate change. The past 3 years should have been very scary ones for Tesla. But thanks to his absurd Twitter presence, Elon Musk has both made himself an inescapable celebrity and positioned himself personally as somewhat MAGA-friendly. The president loves both those things, and Musk's government subsidy-dependent companies haven't just survived the Trump era, they have thrived. This is nothing compared to Musk's next decade. Tesla will do fabulously well under whatever version of the Green New Deal that is passed by the next Democratic president. SpaceX's provision of a fully American space launch capability will make Musk indispensable to presidents of either party. There's a lot going on here. This guy is becoming troublingly powerful. But for today, I'd like to focus in on a nuclear option that Musk is giving to the US government that is more terrifying to China's rulers than any US nuclear missile. I'm talking about Starlink, of course. If you've heard about this program, it's probably in the context of astronomers being angry about it. Depending on how you measure it, there are between 2,000 and 3,000 satellites in space today. Starlink is currently planning to launch 12,000 and could eventually put up as many as 42,000 satellites. Astronomers are reasonably concerned about what this will do to their view of the night sky. This astronomy thing is a real issue that needs to be resolved, but it's being covered extensively elsewhere. What isn't being covered enough is what these satellites can do. Officially, Starlink will bring the internet to underserved populations all over the world. Unofficially, Starlink potentially represents the end of government censorship of the internet. Everywhere.
We know how much the internet has changed America, and we are already an open society. Imagine how much it could change China. Now, there's no question China has been trying to crack down on the internet. Good luck. That's sort of like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall.
Despite Clinton-era expectations, China really has nailed the Jell-O to the wall and made the internet work for them. Through a mix of technology and sheer manpower, China has constructed a great firewall that allows them to censor all online activity in the country. At the same time, they've used this walled garden to build the only serious non-American mass-market technology companies. Elon Musk's Starlink project threatens both China's ability to censor and its independent tech industry. To be sure, there are all kinds of legal and technical barriers standing in the way of bathing China in US government-sponsored open internet. These barriers will be scrupulously maintained as Starlink builds its network, and SpaceX would have to make a very conscious decision to start offering services in China against the will of the Chinese government. But Starlink may be almost as dangerous to China's leaders as a threat as it would be as a functioning service. Musk has already stated that Starlink would not be broadcast to China, in part because they have the capacity to shoot his satellites down. This comment, made 4 years ago, may have been somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but it was probably reassuring to China. It shouldn't be. The 540 Starlink satellites that have been launched so far may already represent as many as a fifth of the total satellites up there. China has demonstrated it can shoot down a single satellite, but can it shoot down thousands? They certainly can't do it without destroying the whole world's communication systems. Blowing up a single satellite risks an ever-expanding field of space junk. Blowing up thousands, or even just hundreds, would block everybody's access to space. China knows that it will never be able to shoot down these satellites, so instead it has opted for a sort of mutually assured destruction pact with Elon Musk. Tesla's absurd stock market valuation relies in large part on the company's surprisingly good relationship with China and the fact that the company has been able to enter Chinese markets with relatively little friction. If Elon Musk's Starlink wants to try to destroy China's governing model, well then, China can turn around and destroy Elon Musk's Tesla. In the short term, I think this is a pretty good strategy for China. In the long term, not so much. Tesla is not just a car company. It's also big on solar panels, grid technology, and consumer and utility scale battery storage. As the coming decades turn more science fiction into reality, SpaceX and Tesla will be well positioned to lead in industries that haven't even been thought up yet. These developments will draw these companies ever closer to the US government. As this process continues, Tesla's ability to sell cars in China will become a less and less important factor for Musk's interweaved empires. This guy is becoming troublingly powerful, but he's not going to stop being a US citizen anytime soon. Starlink's revolutionary potential should be a factor in the politics of countries like Egypt and Iran by the end of the decade, if not sooner. But not for China. I think it's much more likely that Musk's technology will be reserved as a threat, first to sell more Teslas, and later by the US government to aid in all manner of negotiations. The US defense industry is desperate to sell us more useless nukes and aircraft carriers, but it's with stuff like Starlink that the US's true advantage in the new Cold War can be found. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and click the bell next to the subscribe button to get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thanks.